Alright, what is going on, my dudes? We're back here today with a video to predict future buffs. Now, this is a bit of an interesting video. I'm sure there are much better ways to go about this than the way I'm doing it, right? I have two of the Trucos images here up in Canva, and we're going to go through this and just like narrow down what can be buffed and what can't be buffed. Now, we have the old featured crystal here because that's how we're going to try and predict two of these buffs, okay? Because when we look at the old picture, there are a bunch of champs who could definitely benefit from a buff, no doubt about it, right? Luke Cage got one, but he could benefit from another one. The Hood, of course, will be getting one. Black Bolt, no doubt about it. Star-Lord, Thor, and Doctor Strange definitely could use some love. Gulk and Night Thrasher can use some numbers love, right? We have, well, and then, of course, Psycho Man and Skrull, but and then Mephisto could use some numbers love as well. Not all those champions got the buff, but what did happen was these champions right here ended up getting the buff, and I'll show you in just 1 second. Right, so the pool came out, and they had that entire group there, and Crossbones and Howard were there. Crossbones was a completely new champion added to the pool, and Howard the Duck, he's not a new 6-star add to the pool, but he's back in the featured pool. And at the time of the 6-star crystal release, we didn't know who the next buffs will be. So I don't know for sure if Howard and Crossbones were in the same month. I don't remember at this point, but they both did get that announcement fairly soon after, right? So that's two champions out of the 24. Now, when we look over here, at the next featured crystal, right? It's not the best featured crystal, and I made that very clear, my feelings on that the other day, right? Now, first things first, right? There are a lot of new champions in this pool, right? So those champions aren't going to be getting a buff. They might get a value buff later on, they might get a moderate buff later on, some changes later on, but they're just not getting one. Now, Storm X isn't a new champion, but I don't see her getting a buff anytime soon. So let's just go ahead and throw this little bar right over her as well. Now, keep in mind as well, Jabari Panther is the other champion that came out, right? The new featured champion. On top of that, OG Black Panther just got a rework, so he's not going to get buffed again, of course, and I don't see them buffing OG Black Widow anytime soon. Will they eventually? Maybe, but I just don't think, they held off on bringing her in to the Crystal for so long. Her, Wolverine, Scarlet Witch, Thor, these are all champions that for some reason they kind of deem as like too overpowered, right, to jump into the basic pool, so I don't think they're going to be buffing these champions. She could definitely use it, but I don't think they're going to be. This is the first time in the 6-star pool, so that would mimic, Crossbones. And you know what, man, just because that would mimic Crossbones, why don't we go like this? Seriously, why don't we leave her there as a possibility? Okay, now with that being said, we have Joe Fixit here, who absolutely needs a buff, right? He absolutely needs a buff. However, he was just in the recent champion pool, so we know that Guillotine won that, right? The recent champion vote pool. We know that Guillotine won that vote. So that means that Joe Fixit is not going to get a buff before November, and I doubt he'd get one before Ant-Man as well. So I think that it's good that he's in here for the future, right? But I don't anticipate him getting a buff anytime soon. Ebony Maw just got one, Angela just got one, and Civil Warrior also just got one. So we're already narrowing it down quite a bit. Now, we can pretty much nuke through this lane as well. Mr. Fantastic just got a buff. Sorcerer Supreme definitely doesn't need one. Captain Marvel does not need one. Sentinel, while he could benefit from a bit of a value buff to keep up with the other robots in the game, he definitely doesn't need it above other champions, and I don't see him getting that buff anytime soon at all. Now, with that being said, we also have Sabretooth, who certainly does not need the buff. He can do a lot of great things with the Sasquatch synergy, okay? So at this point, we've narrowed it down quite a bit already, and we're about to narrow it down even more, okay? So we have over here Vulture, who just got a buff, a great buff in my opinion. He just got a buff. Nova, who kind of just got a buff. Did he though? I don't know. Okay? And then we're left here with Mojo, who's an interesting one. He's an interesting one to me because I think Mojo's very good. I think Mojo's very underrated. However, he could certainly benefit from a bit of a value buff. And if Ronin got one, if Angela got one, I feel like Mojo could get one. But when you look at the other champions in this pool, it just seems like he's not going to get one anytime soon. And now we have 4 champions left. And one of them is just so obvious. It's so obvious that Deadpool needs a complete rework. Now, when we look at the prior pool, there was a moderate and a rework. Howard was the rework, and Crossbones was the moderate. Okay? We have OG Hulk here. We just got Overseer Hulk. We just got Immortal Hulk. We also have Red Hulk and Gladiator Hulk, and we have She-Hulk as well. Do we really think they're going to be buffing OG Hulk anytime soon? I don't. I don't think they're going to be buffing OG Hulk. I also don't think they're going to be buffing any of the OG Avengers anytime soon. We already have Black Widow, Deadly Origin. We have Captain America, Infinity War, Iron Man, Infinity War, Immortal Hulk. I don't think we're going to see it. If I were to predict 2 buffs out of this crystal, it's going to be 2 mutants. It's going to be Deadpool and Mr. Sinister. Deadpool with the complete rework, and Sinister with the moderate. Now, do I think that the mutant class needs more love? No. Did I expect Bishop to get a buff this good? I don't know, he hasn't come out yet, but just on paper it looks really good. No. When that happened, that kind of changed my mind a little bit. It's like, all right, Deadpool is just the worst champion in this pool, really. And then Mr. Sinister, he has a lot of potential. Give him a little bit of a value, a little bit of some moderate changes, and he could be a really good champion. I feel like Bishop is currently on the same level as Mr. Sinister, and he's such a cool champion that I would love to see him do great things in the game. So, using this crystal pool, based on the past, with the buff system that they currently have, this would be my prediction for future buffs within the next 3 months. Deadpool and Mr. Sinister. Now, let me just seriously just put the disclaimer out there. I don't know anything about this. I don't even know who's coming buffed in August. I don't even know the new champs coming in August at this exact time. I'm just solely making a prediction based on the pool that we currently have, based on, past events, because history tends to repeat itself, right? But anyway, my dudes, that's going to be it for this video. It's a little bit of a fun prediction video, right? If you enjoyed it, drop your boy that big ol' like. Comment what you think about the potential of a Deadpool Mr. Sinister buff in the comment section below. Do you think my predictions are spot on? Do you think they're spot off? Let me know what you think. I'm curious to hear what you guys think, and out of this crystal pool, if you think it might be like Black Widow and Hulk, or maybe nobody, or maybe more. Who knows? Let me know. Anyway, I'll be seeing you around.